ready, go. I'm Lily Ann Carey.
And I'm Claire Carey.
And we did Fusion Blues, and we used a little bit of West Coast swing. Actually a lot. West Coast swing to create moves and shapes. And fusion is exactly that. It's taking random numbers of steps and making advantage of shapes that you might already have. In this case, we used some shapes that you probably haven't done. We started off with basic things. We started off with stepping so that our weight was fully over one foot of the other.
And using our kickstand.
We also had a little bit of a forward lean. So when I'm here with Claire, I'm leaning a little bit forward and I'm pushing off and driving with my body. She is always going to be a little bit behind me. And just notice if she wasn't, she said, I know exactly what you're doing, I'm just going to do it. It looks like this. Right? Doesn't look very fun, right? There's no squish. So she's waiting for every step, right? And not anticipating what it is. Every step is a new day. Then we played with splitting the 8 with various things, various steps. So we could just take basic steps. We could just go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then maybe we could just take a nice little step to the side. 5, 6, I'm going to lift on this side, 7, 8. And I can go backwards. I'm going to have to push off to do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right?
Or we could add that pulse in, right? So if we were taking two counts to take a step, we could do something else on that other count. So we got yada, yada. We talked about the fact that when leads are doing this, we want to make sure that there's a little bit of pop radiating through the chest so that that follow can feel it. We also talked about the fact that follows don't got to do that. We can have it more exist in our hips.
Right? So we can add that. This would be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we could do a little slide if we wanted to.
Yes.
Then we also played, you could go forward and back, step,
We can
forward,
push forward
and push back, right? So any direction we want to go. Once we get into blues, it's not like leads always get to go forward and follows always have to go backwards. It's really nice to mix it up. We also talked about shading.
Yes.
This is the easiest way we have of taking weight off of follow's foot so they can step with us.
Yes.
If I did a long slide, let's say I was going to do a long slide and I went, oh cool, I'm just going to push off and she's going to go, whoa, that doesn't feel that's kind of scary. But if I lift weight off that foot and I say, come with me, it's so much easier for her to feel that and feel safe, right? If I drop that side, she's probably going to go with the multiple feet. You can always feel it. So you go, get the other way.
And we said that if we're, kind of enclosed, there's this feeling of like, yeah, I want to settle in on those steps. But it gives us that little bit of like middle school dance energy. So even if we're just walking, we want to make sure that we're either level, or if we're taking a bigger step, that there's that little bit more shading, right? So for our normal step, pulse, blues basic, just that little bit of lift, airing out the side, we get that little bit of Fred Astaire. Yes?
Right? So, and notice if I drop, where the follow is going to feel it is in their waist and in their back. And so they may be going, ow, ow, ow. Okay, hopefully I've got somebody else to dance with soon, okay? All right, so then we started playing with how do you get into open. And we used a very basic rotation. And I'm just going to step around between, and she's going to step around between. And then I can roll her out when I'm stepping on my right foot.
We're thinking about that hinge side. It's really comfortable for me to step out. If regardless of whether this is, if this is an overhand, right, I'm giving that lovely, stretching the gossamer bubble connection. And if she makes it a free spin with that rollout, I'm thinking about being catchable so that arm just slides right into there.
And if you'll notice, right at the end of that, she wasn't fully in connection. She was here. So she did that.
Settled back.
Because it's her job as a follow. I mean, I may have to participate in that depending on who I'm dancing with. But ideally, she's looking to find that connection. So one more time, we come around. I'm going to use the outside turn, and she's going to find connection. And then if I want to lead her past one side or another, I just step back, and she can do whatever she wants to do. And when she comes into connection, I go, okay, cool, we're done, we're ready. And I can send her past my left side. And she's back in connection, okay? So with that, let's just say I want to go back into close. Let's hit that one. So we had a cradle. She's out there and open. What I can do,
maybe we did a little inside, right? You're gonna take that hand,
and I'm going to drop it down. And now I want her to go back, so I'm going to step back and catch her with my hand. Up to speed. Maybe we did ascend by one side. And now I'm going to step back and bring hand through and step back again. And we can rotate through again. All right?
We talked about the fact that if follows are really settling into that place, that's going to kind of take her for a ride, which is so much fun, right? So if we do this, I'm really continuing my linear energy, and that's going to give that great pop. Yeah?
It feels pretty amazing, right?
It's pretty fun.
All right, so then we did a couple of different rolls. We did 3 versions. The first one was an outside roll, where I'm going to step back and bring this hand through the partnership.
She's pushing off and giving me linear energy, but at the same time, which is that really tricky part, she's pushing off, right, in the same way that we were just doing like a regular pass. She's giving me that linear energy, but now she's rotating it as well. As a follow, when I get that wind up, I really want to go for it because, hey, that's going to be the stuff that's going to power my turn. So as she sends me that way, I'm going to keep going into that wind up. Then she's going to swoop that through. I'm going to swoop. This is going to come up and over. We could do this as 1 turn or 2. In West Coast Swing, it's traditionally 2. But in this situation, right, I can do the more traditional West Coast Swing feet. But if we don't worry about feet, it's blues, it's all made up and the points don't matter. We can really take our time with the swoop. Yeah?
Okay? So, then we had an inside roll from closed position. This is so much like leading a tuck and turn leads.
But there's no tuck.
And I am going to go to a swing hold.
Yes.
Because what's nice about that is when I bring this hand up through, we have what's called a pin and socket. My fingertips are going down, her hand is wrapped around. That's going to make it easier. So I can either manually open her up by rotating my body,
or we can start from that lovely rotation.
and I can just let her roll out a little bit and then bring her through. Now, this is not going to work brilliantly if she doesn't continue to rotate into that connection, creating a bounce that I can use to roll her back out. So, rotating, here it is, she keeps going, right there.
I am both.
I'm going to duck down, right?
I've
She's
got
up there.
great connection in this hand, but I also have connection on her back a little bit as I'm bringing it through. Now, we talked about the fact that this connected hand has no opinions of its own. We could do this move entirely without it, just from the chest rotation. We also noted that follows are going under the hand thousands of years after the turn is initiated, so we're really taking our time.
So what she's saying is I'm not doing this and that, right?
This hand, it's hanging out, yes?
I'm rotating her open. Now I'm rotating her around. She still hasn't gone. Now she goes.
Now I go.
It's just if I leave that hand up, she will naturally roll out of that turn.
This is really fun for getting a lovely snappy exit, but it's also really fun for taking our time and really keeping that shape and maybe hanging out, right, in a bluesy kind of way. Yeah?
And then we
took
did that from open.
So if the first turn required 1 prep and then we were following through, in this turn we're going to do 2. It's starting with the same direction of rotation, going in first,
1,
but then we're going to go out,
2.
and we're both really kind of facing this set
And
of
notice
hands.
she is rotating into that connection, creating a top right there, and then she rotates out. So it looks like this from connection, 1, 2, 3, 4, however many steps you want to take.
Again, we can really take our time and let that turn unfurl slowly.
The last thing that you'll see on the syllabus is something we hit in about 5 minutes. But I do want to show it. So let's say we're just hanging out and I bring this hand down into a Texas Tommy. That is, this hand drops down, 1 hand, 2 hands, 1 hand. I drop this hand down again, and we get right to right. If she's got enough pressure that way already, I can literally step back and catch her. So that would look like this in time. She keeps going. All I have to do is lean back, and she's gonna come flying into me, right? One more time. So we just start. Oh yeah, this is so lovely.
Really nice to do with that rotation.
The hand roll her out. And notice when I roll her out, she tends to go that way. She keeps going. She doesn't go, oh, I'm out, I'm just gonna square up. She allows that momentum to set her into a prep, which means all I have to do is step back and I can catch her back.
The 2 biggest pieces of advice that we were giving you is goof off. It gets to be goofy. You get to not know what you're doing, but keep trying it and keep your chin up. And 2, take your time. This is blues. Create that anticipation. Create those moments of wondering and then settling in.
Absolutely. All right, everyone.
Thank you guys so
We'll
much.
call it for tonight. Thank you.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.